the heartbreaking events of Sobibor. Sobibor was a Nazi death camp during World War II, a place where thousands of people were murdered simply because of who they were. It was a place of horror and death, but it was also the site of one of the most incredible acts of bravery in history. This is the story of the Sobibor uprising, where prisoners fought for their freedom, even when all hope seemed lost. In the spring of 1942, a train carrying Jewish prisoners arrived at Sobibor, a remote death camp in Poland. These prisoners came from various parts of Europe, including Poland, the Soviet Union, and other occupied territories. They had been rounded up in mass arrests, often after being forcibly displaced from their homes. The doors of the boxcars slid open, and the prisoners stumbled out into the cold air. Men, women, and children clung to each other, their faces pale with fear. Many carried small bags or clutched keepsakes from home, though they had no idea what awaited them. "Out! Move quickly!" shouted an SS officer, his uniform crisp and his face cold. The prisoners were herded into lines, their confusion growing. Mothers whispered to their children, trying to calm them. Fathers stood protectively by their families, their eyes darting around for answers. The guards, armed with rifles, barked orders without emotion. They were told to undress and enter the showers, though few realized that those showers were actually gas chambers. The others were sent to labor, but most would never see the outside of the camp again. Life in Sobibor was unbearable. The prisoners were forced to work endlessly. Some sorted the belongings of those who had been killed, clothes, shoes, even toys. Others cleaned or built structures for the guards. The air was heavy with fear, and the sounds of suffering were everywhere. Alexander Pechersky, a Soviet Jewish soldier in his 30s with a strong build and sharp eyes, arrived at the camp in 1943. Unlike many others, he refused to give up hope. He quickly noticed the despair around him, but also saw the courage hidden in the hearts of his fellow prisoners. Pechersky began to gather a small group of trusted prisoners. They met in secret, whispering their plans when the guards weren't looking. The idea was dangerous. They would kill the SS officers one by one, take their weapons, and lead a mass escape. "Will we survive?" asked a young man nervously. "Survival isn't guaranteed," Pechersky replied, his voice steady. "But if we don't fight, we'll die here anyway." The group worked in silence, gathering tools and weapons, knives, hammers, and anything they could use. Every step was a risk, but they knew they had no choice. The plan was set for October 14th, 1943. Prisoners lured SS officers into workshops under the pretense of needing help. Once isolated, they attacked, using whatever weapons they had. The tension in the camp was unbearable. Every noise could mean discovery. When the final phase began, chaos erupted. Prisoners ran toward the fences, cutting through barbed wire. Guards shouted and fired their guns, but the prisoners fought back with everything they had. "Run! Don't stop!" someone screamed. Some prisoners hesitated, frozen by fear. Others grabbed their loved ones and ran as fast as they could. Behind them, the camp was in flames, a fiery symbol of their defiance. Around 300 prisoners made it past the fences and into the forest, but freedom came at a cost. Many were hunted down and killed in the days that followed. Only about 50 survived to tell their story. For those who survived, the memories of Sobibor never faded. They had lost friends, family, and a part of themselves. But they had also done something extraordinary. They had fought back. The legacy of Sobibor is one of resilience and defiance. Despite the overwhelming odds, the prisoners chose to resist, to fight back against their oppressors. Their courage serves as a beacon for all those who face oppression and injustice, reminding us that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can prevail. The story of Sobibor teaches us several powerful lessons. The power of hope and courage. Even when all seemed lost, the prisoners found the courage to fight for their lives. Their bravery shows that hope can never be extinguished, even in the most brutal circumstances. The importance of standing against injustice. The uprising in Sobibor was a powerful act of resistance. It reminds us that we must stand up against injustice, no matter the cost. Never forget the past. The story of Sobibor is a reminder of the horrors of the Holocaust and the importance of remembering and honoring those who suffered. By learning from history, we can ensure that such atrocities are never repeated. The strength of the human spirit. The survivors of Sobibor demonstrated an incredible will to live and fight for their freedom. Their story is a testament to the strength of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable hardship. The Sobibor uprising remains a symbol of resistance, reminding us that even in the face of evil, we can find the strength to fight for what is right. It is a story that should never be forgotten, for it teaches us the true meaning of courage, sacrifice, and the power of the human spirit. The story of Sobibor would not be complete without acknowledging the brave men and women who risked their lives to escape and fight back against the Nazis. Special thanks go to Alexander Pechersky, who led the uprising, and the many others who took part in the revolt, including Lazar Kohn, Thomas Blatt, and Samuel Willenberg. These individuals, along with the survivors, shared their stories with the world, ensuring that the memory of Sobibor would never fade. We also honor the memory of those who did not survive, whose lives were taken too soon in the cruelest of ways. Their suffering and deaths should never be forgotten, and we must continue to learn from the past to build a better future.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for free. Your subscription will be of great help to this channel. Please subscribe.